Good morning, I'm Bradley with Blue Cord, and today we're going to do a continuation, part 2, of Ventrac's brand new KC220 stump grinder. It's not even in production yet, but they sent me one early for me to test out. Stick around and check it out. I know you guys are super excited to see me actually use this thing, and the weather has not cooperated at all. This thing was delivered right after a pretty major nor'easter. For those of you not familiar with that, it's a major snowstorm that hammers the East Coast United States pretty hard. So we got a few inches of snow, then we got a little bit of warmth with some rain, which turned it all into mud. So we don't have any real snow on the ground anymore. Then it got muddy, then it all froze again. Then we got a little bit more snow this morning, but the weather, it looks like this should be a pretty good week. And I think I'll have a chance to actually get out there and use this. But I also want to make sure that I know how to maintain this before I use it for the first time. Now, Ventrac is still in the preliminary, they have not yet finalized the maintenance manual, but they did provide me a copy. I can't share it because it's not complete, but it does give me a good idea of what I need to do to get these panels off and perform proper maintenance. So let's get into that now. Okay, now according to the manual that I got to remove this top cover to expose the belt drive and the tensioner, you don't have to remove all of this hardware. Initially I was kind of dreading that, but the engineers already thought about that. And on the front here, you only have to remove 3 bolts. And it's actually kind of neat what they did here. The bolts that you need to remove actually have a dimple in there. The ones you leave in place are flat across the top. So you remove this one, and this one, plus 2 bolts on the other side, and I'll show you those in a minute. This one's going to be a trick. I looked down through the tunnel, and Ventrac does have a notch that makes the nut accessible coming up from the bottom, but you need some kind of an extension or a deep socket. Unfortunately, my ratchet is too big to fit through that slot. I'm going to ponder on this a little bit more and see if I can come up with a way to grab a hold of that nut on the other side of here. Okay, what was instant for you was overnight for me. I ordered a special set of wrenches. This is a 75-degree offset, and that'll give me the clearance I need to get into this slot. Now, I have to mention, I did call Ventrac yesterday and tell them that I had trouble accessing the nut on the other side of this bolt. Ventrac did create a small access port for a tool to get in there, but my ratchet wouldn't fit. The hole is too small, and to Ventrac's credit, they take their designs, their equipment, everything, they take it very seriously. In fact, Ventrac called me, I think 4 or 5 times yesterday to get my input and feedback on what I've experienced so far, just on the maintenance aspect of this new attachment. In fact, Ryan Steiner himself gave me a call asked how things were going, and said that he would look into that. And as a result of what I encountered here yesterday, engineering immediately made a very small change to make that access port a little bit bigger for their production designs. This is why I love Ventrac so much. Over the years, from my input alone, I think they've made three changes in their products for the better. And this is awesome. I have not heard of any type of other company that takes the feedback from its users that seriously. I think it's pretty awesome. Anyway, let's continue removing this top cover, and we're going to take a look at the spring tensioner for the belt drive. Too big. So I guessed wrong. I couldn't exactly tell what size it was because it's in there so far. And I was able to get this overnighted first thing this morning, and I guessed wrong. The only consolation is I figured I might guess wrong, and I ordered an entire set, and that should be here later on today. We'll try again when we have the right size. My tools have arrived, and I ordered something else, and unfortunately it's not here yet. I got this awesome space heater that mounts to the ceiling, 7,500 watts. I think it's like 18,000 BTUs, I think it is. Super freaking cool remote control, but unfortunately it's not going to do me any good today. It's just above freezing in here. Temperature, if I could see that, only about 40. That ain't terrible. There we go. Okay, now, this is what I need right here. Nope, not that one. 1/2 inch right there. And again, this is 75-degree offset. Let's go ahead and squeeze this in there, and that's the one. Now, I gotta grab my socket. I don't need the deep socket anymore. I'll get a standard. What is this, 1/2 inch? Houston. Dang it. Okay. Oh, good, there it is. I thought I lost it. I kept it on my extension, my 1/2 inch. Here we go. Let's take this thing off. Now we got 3 of these bolts across the front. Each one of these is a different head style and has a dimple in it. And that way you know which ones you have to remove and which ones you can keep in place. Let's go ahead and get this done. Ugh. Well, fell. There it is. Okay. So here you can see these bolts have a dimple, a recess, and that way you know which ones you got to remove. I'm having all kind of trouble today. And these are lock nuts. So these aren't serrated flange nuts. Just notice that these are smooth flange nuts, and they do have a nylon ring in there. So these aren't going to vibrate loose on you. So that's nice. Let's go ahead and get these other ones. That's 2. And then we got one more, this one right here, and then 2 more fasteners on the side. We'll get to those in a minute. There's a learning curve. You got to come in at the right angle to get to that nut on the inside, so I'm going to have to come around here. Yeah, there she is. Ugh. I should probably try to get a picture of this. Well, once you guys get this thing, it's kind of self-explanatory. You'll figure it out. You see what I'm doing? Just repeat after me. Feeling pretty good today. The incisions are healing up pretty nicely. I'm glad for that. So it allows me to do a little bit of stuff, but still not supposed to be lifting anything heavy, and these ain't too heavy, so I'm in pretty good shape. All right, so that's 3 of those across the front. And we got 2 here on the side. All right, we got these 2 right here. We'll take these off. These new wrenches work great. The offset really helps in here. I'm very glad to have these. So, when you get the KC220, I recommend you get a set of these 75-degree offset wrenches. Very big help. Until I can remove this cover, we can't see it. But Ventrac did a lot of forward thinking when they put the spring tensioner idler on here to keep the belts tight. No matter what's going on, the belts can loosen up a little bit. So this, in this regard, this is way superior to the previous design. I'm really excited to actually see this thing. Hopefully these are captive underneath. If they ain't, we're in trouble. Yeah, they are. These are captive. That's really cool. I'd love for them all to be like that. We got 3 more across the top. Yep, those are captive too. Excellent news. This should be it then. It should be it. Once I got these off, then this whole top cover, I stand corrected again. There's 2 more. This isn't really that bad though. These are coming off real easy. Got 2 more right here in the center section, and that's it. It's really it this time. Like for real. All right. It's loose. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take this thing off. I'm super excited to see the mechanism down in here. This is awesome. All right, there it is. Yes. It's exactly what I thought. The springs in here, if you're familiar with the Aerovator, and a couple other Ventrac attachments, the spring tensioner is exactly the same type. And there are different notches in here, and you can, without tools, select whatever notch you want to increase or reduce the belt tension. Something else in the not yet finished maintenance manual is you have to remove these 2 bolts and this plate cover here to get full access to replacing the quadruple belt assembly. It's a pretty nice setup, guys. The belts, because of the length and because of the travel in the tensioner, you're going to get a lot of life out of these belts, and the replacement interval is going to be greatly increased compared to the old version of the Stump grinder. It's pretty awesome. This is a serious piece of hardware, guys. The more I look over this, the more I take things apart, the more I realize how heavily built this thing really is. The gauge of these materials is just incredible. The thickness of this steel, unbelievable. Oh my word. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. I'll probably get a chance to try this out here in the very next video. The weather's going to get a little bit nicer. I think we should have a pretty good break. We'll get a chance to do some field testing on this incredible, beastly attachment. I'm really excited about this.